Welcome to today's Explainer. Today we're taking a really incredible historical journey going all the way back to 7th century Arabia. We're going to unpack a fascinating narrative detailing the very beginnings of Islam. It's this incredible story of deep contrast and vibrant culture, showing us how a single, totally solitary environment sparked what literally became a massive global shift.
Okay, let's dive into this and pose our central question. How exactly did a quiet, isolated mountain cave alter the entire course of human history? It's a fascinating paradox, isn't it? I mean, we usually think of world-changing events happening on massive battlefields or inside bustling palaces. But the history we're exploring today, it anchors a monumental shift in total, absolute silence and isolation. To truly grasp the impact of that quiet cave, well, we first have to establish the world that surrounded it.
Part 1. Ancient Mecca's bustling hub.
So to understand this shift, let's just step directly into the vibrant world of 7th century Arabia. Picture a cinematic aerial view in your mind. You're surrounded by these rugged, towering Rocky Mountains, and they're enclosing the tightly packed stone and mud brick houses of Makkah. Right at the very center sits the ancient Kaaba. The atmosphere is just thick with this warm, golden light of a desert sunset, mixed with the dust kicked up by arriving camel caravans. Merchants are actively trading goods in this incredibly noisy, vibrant marketplace. This dynamic, really heavy commerce, that was the everyday reality of ancient Makkah.
Part 2. The Trustworthy Merchant.
Moving away from that incredibly busy city center, we shift our focus to the central figure of this history, Prophet Muhammad, well before any revelation occurred. Now, what's really interesting about this is how he was known by the title Al-Amin, which translates to the trustworthy. And what's fascinating here is that his impact is understood almost entirely through his reputation. Instead of focusing on physical descriptions, historical accounts really emphasize how merchants in that chaotic marketplace spoke with deep respect about his absolute honesty. It just goes to show how a person's societal reputation, the true respect of their peers, can speak louder than just about anything else.
Part 3. Journey to Jabal al-Nour.
Leaving those bustling streets behind, we find a dramatic contrast that is absolutely essential to understanding this history. On one side, you have Mecca, chaotic, heavy with trade, incredibly noisy. But on the exact opposite side, the Cave of Hira on the mountain of Jabal al-Nour. Up there, it's absolute silence, expansive starry skies, and this deep, isolated peace. This physical pull, moving out of the worldly, material chaos and into a realm of pure spiritual isolation, it represents a complete and total shift in reality.
Picture that enormous, rugged mountain towering in the darkness. It's nighttime. The Arabian sky is just filled with stars. There's this deeply peaceful desert atmosphere, bathed in a beautiful volumetric moonlight touching the rocky landscape. And it is deeply, deeply quiet. You can just make out the ancient rocks and the stars visible through the opening of the cave. And far, far below, you can see the tiny, distant lights of Makkah. It's this incredibly profound moment of stillness and total separation from the world down below.
Part 4. The First Revelation.
It's right within this absolute stillness that the narrative climax actually occurs. The historical accounts describe this moment of profound importance entirely through light and atmosphere. The empty sacred cave is suddenly illuminated by a profound, soft, heavenly light. It's this powerful but gentle atmospheric glow that creates a deeply peaceful, highly emotional, spiritual mood. It uses the environment itself to symbolize the arrival of a totally new message.
Part 5. Hardships and Spreading Faith. Let's move to this and see how it builds.
Because, as you might guess, the stillness of the cave doesn't last long, and the aftermath moves rapidly. In the early days, we see small, quiet gatherings of early believers inside simple, traditional Arabian homes. Then, as the weeks pass, the message begins to spread meticulously. We're talking ancient reed pens writing Arabic script on parchment, all illuminated by the warm, glowing light of oil lamps while small groups listen respectfully. But as months pass, the dynamic really shifts. That quiet hope transitions into rising tension and serious social opposition down in the dusty streets and marketplaces of Makkah.
And here is exactly why this matters for the overall narrative. It highlights the intense resilience of these early followers. You have these pure expressions of hope and determination in those quiet homes, contrasted immediately with the tense marketplace where they faced really heavy social pushback. Yet these individuals remained patient. They maintained steadfast faith in the face of intense societal pressure, basically enduring the crucible of public resistance without backing down.
Part 6. A New Historical Dawn.
And this brilliantly illustrates how the historical arc reaches its grand resolution. You see, the story doesn't end in a dark, silent cave, but with an epic, golden sunrise breaking over Jabal al-Nour. Golden sunlight slowly spreads across the rugged mountains, spilling down into the desert valley and illuminating the peaceful Kaaba in the distance. Birds flying across the morning sky, it's not just a scenic view. It represents a new beginning, a massive cultural shift, the literal dawn of an era that would echo across the globe for centuries to come.
Which leaves us with a final, really provocative thought based on this incredible historical narrative. If one single moment of reflection, isolated in a solitary, quiet cave, could fundamentally shift the entire course of global history, what power lies in our own moments of quiet reflection today? Honestly, in a world as chaotic and noisy as those ancient markets of Makkah, finding our own cave of silence might just be the most impactful thing we can do. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I really hope this sparks some quiet reflection of your own.